Hi everyone, my name is Andrew, and today I thought I'd give you a little bit of a brief presentation on aircraft maintenance and a new training program that I'm trying to start up. This training is mostly for new personnel coming into our work center, but it's also for people in general, just so they know, kind of give a little bit of a brief understanding of what we do and why is it so important. So, why is it our job so important? I have a diagram up here that I got from the internet. Sorry if you can't see it. It might be a little blurry on the phone. But I have a list from April 2017 all the way up to April 2018. And it shows the total number of incidences or deaths, basically, related to aircraft. So we have about 47 aviation accidents. And there's also another number here giving a little bit of a comparison. The total number of troops killed in action in Afghanistan is 31. So you can see that the number for aviation accidents is actually higher than the amount of troops killed in Afghanistan in a year. So today I'm going to be going over about 5 things. Examples of bad training, the impact of the bad training, my plan for the new program, how we can prevent injuries, and then what your part is in all this. So we'll start off with the first one, some examples of bad training. So when I first arrived to my new work center, there wasn't too much presented to me. I had a lot of forms thrown at me and a lot of safety protocols that I wasn't familiar with. I was trying to learn as much as I could, but of course, for aircraft, it's going to be a hard job. And I know I'm not the only one that has gone through this. A lot of people have difficulty adjusting to aircraft maintenance, and it can be bad because it can hurt a lot of people. In an interview with one of the generals of ACC, which kind of controls a lot of the aircraft for the Air Force in general, he said that the ACC has made great strides in plugging and alarming the shortfall of maintenance airmen. He said he is continuing to develop these airmen. That's kind of the problem. And that's what I plan to kind of fill in, is the further development of aircraft maintenance airmen, and also just to try and help other people understand why it's such a big deal. So I showed you an example of bad training. What is the impact of that? So let's say I don't know how to do a safety protocol and something bad happens, like an airplane crashes. A lot of the safety protocol might be kind of common knowledge, like call the fire department. But some other things might not be too specific, like going over the radio and asking people, oh, are you hurt? Do you need an ambulance? So an impact of the bad training could be that someone gets hurt and someone dies because you don't know what you're doing, basically. Let's see what other impacts we have here. I'm not saying this training is going to solve everything, by the way. It is just a small piece to a bigger puzzle. Aircraft is always going to be dangerous to work on. So it's not like one piece of training is going to solve everything. Human error is always going to be there, especially with aircraft and how complex it can be. But this would help, I think, with the quality assurance process, and just to make sure that people kind of have a general understanding of what they're doing. So let's see what we got here. So what is the plan, basically? What is my plan for this new training program? So I was taking a look at a lot of different aviation maintenance training programs, and some of these studies conducted basically pointed towards a mixture of team building and electronic-based training. So basically a team environment with some computers involved, basically. So what will we be going over in this training program? I made like a little bit of a brief list of what we'll be going over. It's kind of just a little brief rundown. It's some software It's how you're going to manage the aircraft, procedures for dealing with the flight line. So, like I said, the safety thing, emergency response plans. Like let's say there's jet fuel leaking everywhere and you don't know what to do. We'll go over that. What happens on a normal flight and what would happen. So we'll go through everything on what happens when an aircraft takes off and what happens when it lands, and what you can kind of just watch and see what happens or how they do it for when a flight's taken off and what type of safety stuff they'll be going over. So let's see here. So I told you that this training would help with safety, but how specifically will this training help prevent injuries? In a recent survey conducted this month, there was around 198 incidences involving aircraft. I already showed you the amount of deaths there was in an average year, but this is the amount of incidences. In a compilation of interviews and surveys, there was a decline in training and in low morale. So there was a lot of not too much training and a lot of low morale because they don't know what they're doing. A quote from one of the articles is, "A lot of people don't even know what a ratchet is." This is one of the bosses that was interviewed on the flight line. If you ask them for a ratchet, they'll bring a socket. So basically, it's not many people know even how to get a ratchet wrench compared to a socket wrench. So it kind of shows you a little bit that maybe our training program is a little bit lacking and that we need to help out a little bit. So I talked about all the safety stuff. I talked about the training program that I wanted to introduce. But what can you do to help? So basically for this training program, we need a lot of new computers and a lot of renovation for a new classroom that we're trying to put up. So basically we're just asking for donations to see how we can improve this training basically. So if you want to donate some money, we'll put it straight to new computers, renovating a new classroom. And in exchange for this donation, we're willing to let you sit in on the class, learn how aircraft maintenance is conducted, and basically give you a little bit of experience with flight line processes. So that kind of concludes most of my speech, but I'm going to go over everything again once more. There is a lot of non-proper utilization of personnel, and we want to utilize them properly. We want to get them trained properly. We don't want low morale just because they don't know what they're doing. Ensuring that they have the tools basically, and so that they can succeed at what they do is really important to me. And it would be amazing if we could give that to them. Some of the main points I went over was training, the impact of the improper training, how this training is different from other training, and how we can implement it, and also what you can do to help us out. So this new program is another way we can help the safety of our personnel and pilots, like I've been saying. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. But with that, just let me know if you have any questions on the new program. If you're not sure on what computers we'll be doing or what classroom we'll be using, just let me know and I'll tell you. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thanks for listening in on my presentation. Bye.